Hello my dear health seekers, Inga from Health Origins here. So today I'm back with another Okara recipe from my Okara recipes series, and today I'm making a vegan roast using Okara. So let's begin. So you're gonna need 1.5 cups of Okara here. Okara is soy pulp that's left over from making soy milk. I make my own soy milk, so I always have this left over, and I'm always trying to incorporate it in different recipes, baking, sweet or savory. And I'm gonna link down below how I make my soy milk as well, if you're interested. So we've got 1.5 cups of fresh Okara. So I'm just gonna add it to my food processor. So here we're gonna be making wet ingredients. So Okara. Then another big ingredient is fried mushrooms and onions. So this is 1 very large onion and also 300 grams of chestnut mushrooms fried for about 9 minutes. So I fried the onion for first 2 minutes, then I added the mushrooms and just dry fried it. I didn't even need to add any water. A tip there, if when you're frying the onion, put a little bit of salt, a pinch of salt, and that will release its own juices quicker, so it doesn't stick as quickly to the pan. And then when you add the mushrooms as well, they release their own juices too. So 300 grams of mushrooms, or you could even use 250. Normally a punnet of mushrooms is about 250 or 300 grams. I like to look for discounted mushrooms, so that days to be used by that day or tomorrow, say, and they normally discount at half price, and that's great. So I just fry them, and you could use this for different dishes. You could add it to your lasagna, you could add it to your stir fries, soups, whatever. It's so versatile to have some mushrooms and onions. And then it's good to actually pre-prep this ahead of time for the week, and then you can be adding bits of this into different dishes as the week progresses. So I'm adding my fried onions and mushrooms here. Escaping. Then use 1 large beetroot or 2 smaller ones. I've got kind of 3 smaller medium-sized ones, so I just want to use them up, so I'll use that, but 1 large beetroot is fine. So these are slow roasted. I slow roasted these on 150 for 1.5 hours in my fan operated oven, closed, but you could either have them steamed, boiled, or slow roasted. Then we're gonna need 1.5 tablespoons of mustard. This is Dijon mustard, 1.5 tablespoons here. And don't worry, the finished roast, if you're not a fan of mustard, the finished roast does not taste of mustard at all. It just gives this kind of nice extra flavor. Then I've got 1.5 cups of tomato paste. If you don't have tomato paste, you could also use ketchup here, but I think tomato paste is more whole food, and it has kind of deeper flavor. So 1.5 tablespoons of tomato paste here. Then we've got 5 tablespoons of peanut butter. I've gone overboard, I think it's more like 6 here, but yeah, so 5 tablespoons of peanut butter. If you're allergic obviously to peanuts, then use other nut butter, or sunflower seed butter would work here well if you're allergic to nuts. So just a bit of fat, natural fat, just to give this roast a more kind of traditional meat mouth feel, because there's always some fat in kind of meat roasts. So this is to help to give that you know, flavor. Then we're gonna need 1 tablespoon of miso paste. So this is your soybean fermented paste. If you are allergic to soy products, you could you could either use Marmite or yeast extract instead to give that kind of umami flavor. And then the last bit of our wet ingredients is about a tablespoon. This is actually 4 large garlic cloves, so minced garlic. So about a tablespoon. You could use maybe 3 large cloves. This is slightly more than a tablespoon. So just adding that. And that's it. I'm gonna put on the lid and I'm gonna blitz this until it's smooth. So it's been 20 seconds. You might need to scrape the bowl a couple of times just to help to incorporate everything evenly. So it's been blending for 2 minutes now and it's looking quite a smooth paste. So we're gonna prepare our dry ingredients and then we're gonna mix the two together. So this is actually, I forgot to say, this is a vegan seitan roast with Okara. So we're going to be using seitan flour or vital wheat gluten for this. If you're obviously gluten intolerant, can't have gluten, you could potentially replace this with a couple of cups of boiled rice and maybe about 5 tablespoons of psyllium husk. That should kind of help you bind and keep this whole mass together. But we're using vital wheat gluten here. So this is 2 cups or 300 grams of vital wheat gluten. And I buy this in buywholefoodsonline.com. I'll link down below where you can buy your own bulk, you know, vital wheat gluten in bulk, because this is quite a specialty ingredient. You can't find it in like supermarkets normally. It's mostly online or health food stores that you could find this. Then I'm adding 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. So this is that. Then we've got 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar, or you could use just brown castor sugar as well. But I'm using coconut sugar, so 2 tablespoons just to give that extra bit of sweetness. Actually, this recipe, most of this recipe I'm following from the Bearded Chef. So just a shout out to him. Then 2.5 tablespoons of mixed herbs. So this is kind of Italian mixed herbs and some salad herbs that I had. So yeah, so just anything, you know, that you kind of, yeah, Italian is great mixed herbs. So I'm just adding that, 2.5 tablespoons. And then a teaspoon of black pepper. You could add a bit more if you like pepper, or you know, if you don't mind that hotness, but we really kind of can't stand too much heat, so 1 teaspoon is enough for us. Then we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. So it's 2 teaspoons, sorry, not tablespoons, 2 teaspoons. So smoked paprika to give our roast this kind of nice smoky taste. And the actually, and I forgot the main thing, you need 2.5 tablespoons of bullion powder. This is gonna give that extra flavor, but also the saltiness. So between these 2.5 tablespoons of bullion powder and also 1 tablespoon of miso paste that we added here, we should have enough of that salty flavor, so there's no need to add extra salt. So 1, 2, 2.5. So yeah, so now just mix up all the dry ingredients. And that's the key, you know, for great seitan roast, is to add a bit of kind of other texture, you know. So here we've got like vegetables, the mushrooms, the onions, to break up the gluten, because if you do just the gluten and not much else, then it'll be like very rubbery. So you could, you know, add either chickpeas. I've added chickpeas in the past. You could also add gram flour. So the original recipe I'm following, he adds 6 tablespoons of gram flour, you know, to this, but because we're using okara and, you know, mushrooms and onions, we don't need any extra of this. But that's kind of the key. You need to spice it really well, the seitan, and also you need to add something else to break up that bit of gluten so it's not as rubbery, not as tough. So yeah, so this is my dry ingredients mix now, and I'm gonna put the wet paste into this and mix together. Look at this beautiful magenta colored paste. Looks amazing. So now I've got it all in here, and you need to have at least as much of the paste as you have gluten flour, or even a bit more, so that you don't have that rubbery feel once your seitan is finished cooking. So I'm just gonna incorporate everything. I mixed all the seitan flour in, but I really like to also knead it for a few minutes afterwards. But for this, because it's beetroot, it'll dye your hands, so I'm going to be using my clean kitchen gloves to do it. So just get in there and knead it as a dough. I really love the texture of this seitan roast, because it's kind of so pleasant to work with. It's almost like a Play-Doh or something. So yeah, so just knead it and incorporate it well for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and that will give gluten a chance to develop more. So it's been about 3 minutes. I've kneaded the dough, and because there's quite a lot of dough, I'm gonna be dividing it into 2 and making 2 roasts. And I'm gonna be steaming one in my Instant Pot and one in normal steaming pot as well. So yeah, so you don't have to have an Instant Pot. You can just steam it in a normal steaming pot insert. For about an hour, but Instant Pot is probably enough, about 45 minutes. So yeah, so I'm just forming this into a bit of a kind of a log shape, a bit of a nut roast shape, and gonna be placing it here. And I've got 2 layers here. So I've got my foil, and then I've got my parchment paper. I don't want my seitan actually touching the foil, so that's why I've got the parchment paper first, and then the foil just to give it the shape and kind of not allow water to penetrate too much into the roast while we steaming it. So I'm just gonna roll this up. You want to do it tightly, not too tight, but still kind of keeping it a little bit, you know, on the tight side. So I'm just rolling this, and then I'm just going to twist the ends up like that. And yeah, so one of the roasts is ready to go into my Instant Pot steamer basket here. This is not the original steamer basket that comes with Instant Pot. I bought that separate, so I'll link down below if you were interested. And I've also bought this little trivet as well that comes with this, and it's quite convenient because you can actually boil something underneath while you're steaming something. So it's got a little bit of you know, lip there on it. So I'm gonna be putting this into my pressure cooker Instant Pot and steaming for 45 minutes, and this one I'm gonna be steaming just in a normal pot for an hour, and then we're gonna check it. Seitan has steamed. Actually, I managed to steam them both in my Instant Pot, and it has cooled down a little as well, as it's been resting for probably about a couple of hours. So I'm gonna take it out, And you could now, you know, slice it and eat it as is. But what I like doing, I like putting some kind of glaze on it and bake it for another 15 minutes. So I'm going to be putting hoisin sauce on these and baking at 170 degrees Celsius fan oven, so 190 conventional. So I'm just gonna unwrap the second one as well, and I'm gonna just baste them with the hoisin sauce and this basting brush. So just a little bit to glaze them, to coat them. I just love you know, doing this last bit with the glaze. I feel it's, you know, giving it this extra bit of nice flavor. You could do it with the sweet chili sauce, for example, or a barbecue sauce would work well as well. So one is nicely coated, I'll do the second one. So I'm gonna bake these for 15 to 20 minutes and we're gonna taste test them. The roast is finished and I've got a taste tester with me tonight.
Hi guys.
And I've sliced this here already. The texture is actually quite soft. I think Mark likes it a little bit more firm. So if for this amount of Okara, because this is Okara Seitan Roast.
I wouldn't have thought any other way, Inga.
Yeah. So for this amount of Okara and the mushrooms and onions we were using, I think you are safe adding another maybe half a cup of vital wheat gluten. But yeah, let's give it a go.
Flavor's good. Flavor's really good.
Yeah, it's flavorsome. It's not too salty either.
No.
Yeah, it's quite good. But yeah, you said the texture for you.
Well, as a roast, I mean, obviously a roast would normally have more bite to it. Whereas that's kind of a little bit more soft. You know?
Yeah, so if you like a softer kind of a nut type roast, then this is perfect. But if you want a little bit firmer, like a beef type style roast, then maybe add another half a cup of gluten. Yeah, so I hope you like the recipe. Give us a thumbs up if you did. If you're new here to this channel, welcome and subscribe for more videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And remember guys, food is fuel.
So be mindful of what you put in the body.
Exactly. Until the next time.
Bye guys.